In this video, we are going to continue our work on the wall section. We're going to focus on the exterior wall in this video. We're going to make a small change to our wall assembly. In the Revit file, we've added an exterior siding to the sheathing layer back here. We have a membrane also. What's referred to here as the air and moisture barrier. But we're going to add this airspace. So this is made with a 1x3 vertical spacer. And basically, we're going to apply the drained cladding principle to this wall assembly. So we'll just move the siding out by a 3 by 3/4 of an inch. So back in the Revit model, I'm going to click on the wall and I'm going to edit the type. Under structure, I'm going to insert another layer. Okay, I'd added it to the top. I'm going to move it down so it's underneath the siding clapboard layer. And in terms of function, this is going to be a thermal air layer. And in terms of the material here, I'm just going to select this air. And for the thickness, a 1x3 would have an actual thickness of 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to say okay, apply and okay, and it should update that to all of the walls assigned to this wall type. Okay, that's the first thing. Now, the second thing that I'm going to start working on is developing a graphic for the siding. Now, right now, it's just a layer of 3/4 inch material. But as we studied in the textbook, there's a number of variations of sidings. Okay, so this is from chapter 6, and as you can see, there are, a number of different profiles. And when you start to do some research on available materials, you'll find that there's even more possibilities available. Anything from, a plain bevel to something that has a kind of rabbited kind of joint that allows for something to sort of slip and notch in. So we're going to be finding something that is suitable. And I would encourage you, if you feel like it, that you do your own research and find some other profile, but I'll show you one that will work for this project. Now, if you were to start a search for different products out there, like I've just used this V shiplap cedar dimensions to begin looking at some possible profiles that I might have for my siding, you'll find that there's many options. Now, how do you make this decision? Well, it kind of depends on the project. If you are working in a particular region, you might choose to work with a shop that is relatively close, and you would go to their website, take a look at what products they have and find a profile that you like, and then attempt to draw it, and at least, to some degree of accuracy so that your details reflect kind of the design intent. So you can see here, this profile is something that I'm going to base the one that I'm going to draw on. Not exactly. Some of these dimensions are a little bit, this says 11/32 and things like that. I won't get to that level of accuracy, but I will attempt to draw something that has roughly the profile that we see here. Now, obviously, this is shown in the horizontal. I'll draw it horizontally, and then once I have it made into a group, I will rotate it and get it aligned properly. Now, one thing that you want to keep in mind with Revit is that you could produce a family for this and apply it to the wall type. But in our case, we are only going to have this detail showing in this one wall section. So it may not be necessary to go to the trouble of creating the family and applying it to the wall type and that'll take a little bit longer. I'm just going to draw a profile using detail lines, I'll group one of these clapboard profiles, and then I'll make a series of copies of it in the wall. So I sketched out some of the dimensions that I found online for one of the products, and I'm going to go to the annotate tab, and I'm going to start to draw this. I'll just zoom in here a little closer. And I will start to lay out some lines. So 6.25 inches. And do another. Actually, I want to start over. I'm going to delete this one and do a detail line. This one is going to be 6 inches. And I'll start to build some information here. This is going to be a line that is 0.75 inches or 3/4 of an inch. Make this one 1.5 inches. 0.375 inches. And I'll bring that back to here. Tail line 0.25 inches. Copy. I'm going to make another copy of that one, 0.25 inches. These are a little bit difficult to read, so I'm going to make a window around this. I'm going to change it to thin lines, so it's a little bit clearer. Okay, now I will start to add some more profile to things. Oops, let's change this to thin lines. Annotate. Copy 0.25. And start to stretch these back. So I want to use this V groove shiplap because I feel like it has better drainage than some of the other profiles. I'll leave this line there temporarily. Bring this back here. 0.125 inches. 0.5 inches. 0.375 inches. Can unjoin them, it's fine. Delete. Okay, we're almost there. See if I can get a midpoint here. Midpoint. Copy. And now this center groove is more, I guess you could call it decorative. The other ones are part of the joint system. But I'm creating a little V groove here in the middle of the board so that it looks like there are more boards than there are. Right, and I'm going to delete this, and I'll drag this one back here and create a new one. Underlines, okay. Pull it back a little bit more. There we go. And one more line. Right, let me just check a dimension here. So basically, when I bring it into the wall, I'll make them at 6-inch centers. There'll be a little bit of what we call a reveal here. And that will allow the wood to expand and contract. As you know, with wood products, in the long direction, there's not nearly as much expansion and contraction as there is in this short dimension here. So with moisture, it's going to kind of need some wiggle room. So allow that. Okay, so I'm going to make a window around this. I am going to go to annotate, detail group, and I'm going to create a group, and I'm going to call mine the shiplap profile and say, okay. Right now, I will take this and I will get it set up. Okay, it's now backwards on the wall. Let's make I'll erase the one on the left. Okay, so now I have something that I can work with here. Let's bring this over to this point. Okay, now it is just line work. And so I think what I'm going to have to do is move it. I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to click on it, annotate, detail group. Let's click on it and one thing that, appeared or became apparent when we added this siding here is that we can still see the layer below. So I move this over and I'm going to click on the profile. I'm going to edit the group. And there's a couple things that I'm going to do here. I'm going to go to annotate, to the region tool. I'm going to create a masking region from this point here. Now make sure, and I'll use the rectangle tool, not the line tool, will be faster. Make sure that the profile of your mask is set to invisible lines. I'm going to click on that, hit the check mark, and you can see it's obscuring my my profile. So hit the check mark, and what I'm going to do is send it to the back. Okay, and then what I'll do is click on finish here. So I have the mask there, and what I'm also going to do is add a hatch pattern to the profile of the wood. So I'm going to create a filled region, and you should find that there are these a couple of wood patterns in there. I'll go with this wood pattern number 1. And in this case, I'm going to trace, I want to use invisible lines for the profile, but I'm going to go around and let's pull this back. Hit the check mark, and I should get a wood pattern. You can maybe try other patterns if you feel like that one doesn't work. I'm going to click on this again, see if I can change this in one step. Click on the wood pattern. Let's see here. That appears to be the masking plane. I don't know that I can. I'm going to remove it. Click on finish. Edit the group. Let's try this again. I think that is the masking plane. I don't want to remove that. So I kind of have gone back and I'm redoing this profile. I'm going to try the wood 2, and I'll continue to make my lines around here. You know, I think that the wood 1 is okay too. I just want to see what this one looks like. Check mark. Yeah, I think I kind of like that graphic better. Okay. So once I have this in, ready to bring in, like it didn't take made it as a separate element here instead of editing the group, which is not what I want. So I'm going to go back here, undo till I've okay, I've got the mask in there. I'm going to edit the group. Probably should have left it as it was. Okay, I'm going to select the mask. I'm going to send it to the back, and then I'm going to hit finish. Okay, so at least we have that part done. Now I'll make one more attempt to get the hatch pattern correct here. I'm going to edit the group, and I am going to create this region, build region. I'm going to choose wood number 2, and I'm going to try to integrate this into the profile one more time. Going around, just tracing that siding profile, hit the check mark, finish. And let's see, did it allow me to integrate it into the detail group? Yes. Okay, that one worked. And now, once I have one of them in place, I can click on it, and I can create an array. I don't know how many I'm going to need. Let's see here. We have a 2-story building. It's, roughly 20 feet, and they're every 6 inches. So maybe we'll try 40. And if we have to erase some of them, that's okay. And I'm going to click a point here. I'm going to go up 6 inches in input 6 inches. Okay, now I still have a little bit of the siding showing, so my graphics are not exactly as I would like for them to be. Let's see what happens if I save my project. If I move them just like, I don't know, 1/16 of an inch over, I start to get a profile like I would like. So I'm going to undo my array, brought it back so there's just one. And I'm going to take this profile and I'm going to move it over just a little bit. There we go. Now it's covering that outer siding layer that was part of the wall assembly. And I'll repeat the array. I'm going to make 40 of these. And 6 inches. Okay. Go up here to the top. I have a few that I need to erase. Delete. Delete. And We're going to need probably to modify this top one a little bit too. But one thing that I'd like to do is I feel like the line weights are still not what I would like them to be. I want to have a little bit more profile to at least the part that's visible here, not the part that's hidden behind here. So I'm going to actually go and edit the group one more time. Okay, and if you tab through, you can select certain parts of the detail group. So let's see here. If I edit the boundary, does it let me? Yeah. I'm going to make this my thin medium line. And I'm going to go around and change some of these lines so that it pops a little bit more. You can see it's already a little bit heavier. I think this was the line type was type 2 or line type 2. And we'll carry that into finish. There we go. So it has a little bit more weight to it. And I think we're ready to kind of resume where we had left off. I have maybe an extra one here that I'm going to eliminate. And instead here, I'm going to draw a box that kind of conceals the siding that was part of the wall assembly. So I'm going to annotate and detail line, and I'll draw a rectangle here. Let's see here. Let's not do it as detail lines. Let's do it as a region, build region, and we can use the same wood to that. Oops, let's do it as a rectangle. Check mark. There we go. Okay, so there's like a little modified piece at the top. All right, so that takes care of the siding profile. It took a little bit longer than anticipated. I'm a little bothered by this being white, but I think when we zoom out, it probably is too small a detail for us to worry about too much. So I can continue on with my making notes for the wall assembly.